What's up, Nerf Nation? This is Normatico here, and today we're going to be talking about what could arguably be a controversial blaster series. Nerf Ultra. You either love it or you hate it. Now, I know if you've actually watched other videos from other creators such as Wallcom, Drac, they will rail against Nerf Ultra and how horrible it was. I am not one of those people who hates Nerf Ultra. I actually adopted the format, and you know what? It has its issues, but personally, I think it is okay. The issues that it has, of course, is that Hasbro definitely did lie and mislead the public when they said that they are the farthest flying Nerf darts ever created, and that they are the most accurate darts, or I should say, pinpoint accuracy, which they are not. Right around the Ultra 4, Ultra 5, they actually dropped those claims and then said that they were just the most accurate Nerf darts created, which I guess that is technically true when you compare them to Elite darts, but not true when you compare them to AccuStrikes. However, that being said, when you ignore all of that nonsense, you get some fun blasters that perform pretty well. They each perform above 100 feet per second. On average, the Ultra 3, I averaged anywhere between, well, low of 99, high of 107, so it's pretty decent. But the one that I'm talking about is probably the most popular one that I've seen aftermarket, and that is the Ultra Pharaoh. Now, the Ultra Pharaoh, I actually installed this bipod attachment from a Raptor Strike on it, just because of the fact that it is a good sniper, and it's fun. I'm not going to lie. With Ultra Darts, it's perfect. However, we are not testing this one with Ultra Darts, because this one has been modified. It has been modified with the worker kit to use Steffens. Now, this blaster, it is a drop-in kit. There's no real shell cutting required as long as you have the right version of the Ultra Pharaoh. There were 2 releases of it. There is version 1, which actually has the solid scope. It does not have this orange trim on it. And then there's version 2, which has just the trim. And the internals is a little bit different by a smidge. There's a little bit of shaving that needs to be required in order to make this fit properly. However, in this case, this one just slides right in, and we load our magazine, which I have right here, loaded with some bamboo darts. Now, the bolt action on this, it is nice and smooth. It is a true bolt action. You pull back, you push up, and you are ready to go. It is now primed, it is ready to fire, and we're ready to have some fun. Now, I will tell you that with this blaster, it's kind of weird. I've actually participated with this thing in some competitions, and it's fun. Backyard play, I actually usually stand up on the deck. I set up some bunkers out on the ground down here. I have G-Rex go to the bunkers. He tries to shoot a target at the deck, and I am shooting at him with the Ultra Pharaoh. If he shoots the target before I shoot him, he wins. If I shoot him before he shoots the target, obviously he loses. It's kind of like American Gladiators. Those of you who are around in the late 80s, early 90s will remember that show and remember the assault course. That's kind of the game there. Now, with one of these, you can get some pretty good distances. Not only with the Ultra Darts, you can get around 100, 110, but with the actual half dart kit, it goes much further. You will see that in the distance test. But now, let's actually go ahead and swap out to the accuracy test for a change and see how accurate this blaster is from about 60 feet. out here with the Ultra Pharaoh that has been modified to shoot Stephens. This is actually the worker drop-in kit. It's pretty simple. We are going to see how well this can perform using Bamboo 2.0 darts from Dart Zone. Let's check it out, shall we? This is what happens when people decide to drive when we are actually filming. Because heaven forbid they go around the other side of the parking lot, but, you know, whatever. I wonder if I can shoot their car from here. Anyways. Let's do a quick dart recovery to see how well the Pharaoh can shoot the half darts. Alright, I am back with my final thoughts regarding the Ultra Pharaoh with the Worker Half Dart Modification Kit. Now, I do not actually have the full kit installed because I kept the stock spring in here, mainly because I felt that it was beefy enough. I do have the quote-unquote upgrade spring. However, I noticed that there was actual no real increase in performance when I just installed the spring and ran Ultra Darts through it. So, to be honest, I don't think that upgrade spring is worth it or needed. Now, what I might actually do in the future is that I might slap a couple of K26 coils in this thing and see if that will boost the performance. And if it doesn't, I will fall back to the stock spring because it is pretty beefy on its own. I, however, do love this blaster. This is probably my second favorite of the Ultra Blasters. My first one, well, you'll see that in a video coming up soon when I do an unboxing on one that I have new in box, and I compare it stock versus modified. However, this one, you know what? It is great. You could actually take this one onto a battlefield and have a good time with it with this kit, and it will compete. Now, because of the actual FPS ranges of it, you can go with a 150 FPS cap as long as you're using used darts and some of the slower darts, quote-unquote. However, if you actually want to go into a higher level cap, switch to the Bamboo 2s, make them fresh, and you are good to go. Now, here is the downside to this blaster. It is pretty big. I mean, this is bulky. Walking around with this thing, you know what? It's going to get heavy after a while. I will tell you that the sling point attachment right down here, there's just one. It'd be nice, well, there are two. One here and one down here. The problem is that with the sling point attachment there, it is going to get in the way when you actually use the sight itself. However, as long as you can deal with that, you've got a good blaster. There's no real downside other than the size and the sling point attachments. I do wish that Nerf had actually done some more detailing on this side. You just have the white Ultra, and of course, you have the gold plating on this side. However, that is nothing that a good can of spray paint and some sandpaper cannot fix if you decided to paint the entire blaster. If you decide to do so and you actually want to get rid of this cartoony looking scope, that is fine. This scope itself, once you actually take out these screws, this scope is just one big piece, and you can just paint the rest of the blaster and paint the scope separately, and you are good to go. However, the scope itself does not detach for easy painting, as in it does not split apart. It is one solid piece, so keep that in mind. I will tell you that there's a couple of really large screws, and there are different size screws in this blaster, so when you take it apart, make sure that you keep track of them. Also, be careful when you open it up because it does not want to open up easily. It will just go all over the place. So, be forewarned. Make sure that you actually look at some photos online to see where all the parts go in case that happens. Do not be like me that you were just stuck there for a good hour being like, where does this piece go, George? So, anyways, I want to thank you all for watching Secondhand Blasters. Until next time, keep on blasting.